I am Amelia Dewi as a moderator of today's project presentation. The Honorable Lecturer Mr. Ahmad Agus Setiawan and all of my beloved friends, thank you for coming. So the next presenter today is Group 3, which is Miss Margareta Rosemary and Miss Anggi Rahmawati. And today's presentation from Group 3, is about forecast model to optimize hydropower energy utilization in East Kalimantan. Before we start the presentation, I will explain the rules of the presentation today. The presentation will be conducted for 35 minutes ahead, with the time allocation the first 25 minutes for the presentation, the materials, and the remaining time will be used for a question and answer session. So for the participant, listen carefully and prepare your question. Miss Margareta and Miss Anggi, are you ready?
Oh, ready.
Yeah. Without further ado, for Group 3, time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Miss Amelia Dewi. Good morning, all friends. Okay, let's get into the presentation about hydropower energy in East Kalimantan. Are there any friends from Kalimantan here? What West Kalimantan? Right? And today we will discuss about East Kalimantan. This is our member, Mbak Anggi, and me, Margareta Rosemary. Move on into the outline. We will discuss about four subtopics in this presentation. About introduction in East Kalimantan. This will cover is Kalimantan outlook, and the second is installed electricity capacity data, and then electricity customer data. And then the scenario, we have two scenario. First, we use RUPTL scenario, and the second scenario is optimizing renewable energy utilization. Then the third outline is sleep model, and then the last is energy analysis. For the introduction of East Kalimantan, this is the picture of East Kalimantan. East Kalimantan is a province with 127,000 kilometer square area. And the population is around 4 million people, and the population growth there is about 1.72% per year. The PDRB growth in East Kalimantan is 1.912% per year. And East Kalimantan consists of 9 regencies, as we can see in the slide. And one of that is Penajam Pasir Utara. That is the new capital city of IKN, Ibu Kota Nusantara. Okay, Mbak Anggi, you can continue.
Okay, thank you for your opportunity. The following is data on installed electricity capacity in the province of East Kalimantan, based on the statistical data from the Director General of Electricity of the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resource 2021, as the table from the PLN plants. PLTD contribute the largest capacity. After that, PLTU and other part. Meanwhile, non-PLN plants are dominated by PLTU. From this data, it can be concluded that overall electricity in East Kalimantan province in 2020 is mostly supplied by PLTU, which is 834 megawatts. Next. Based on PL statistical data published in the 2021 PLN status book and data in 2021 and to 2030 PLN LPTL, there are 6 types of electricity customer in East Kalimantan with the number and average sold energy per type of customer as in following the table. From the table, it can be seen that the largest number of electricity customer in East Kalimantan are household customer, but the customer with the largest electricity demand in East Kalimantan are industrial customer. This can be seen from the average amount of energy sold to customer from the industrial sector. From the data, it can also be seen that the growth of industrial customer has a very significant impact of the growth of electricity demand in East Kalimantan. Next. Okay. Referring to the data of RUPTL PLM 2021 to 2030, in the appendix about its Kalimantan province, it is found that the growth of electricity customer in East Kalimantan province in 2016 to 2020 is shown in the figure. From the data above, it can be seen and calculate the amount of electricity customer growth in East Kalimantan per year. Of the four, an average growth 7% per year was found. When view the renewable energy potential data in East Kalimantan according to data obtained from chart released by ESSR. East Kalimantan has a potential renewable energy capacity as shown the following the table. In the table, it can be seen that East Kalimantan has abundant solar energy and water energy potential. This can be happen because the East Kalimantan regions is an area traversed by equator and it's an area that has many forests that support both potential. Based on the table, it can also be seen that from the magnitude of existing potential, the utilization effort is still very minimal. Okay, next.
Okay, let's move on into the energy analysis. This graph is represent electricity demand in East Kalimantan. That is mentioned before by Mbak Anggi. The table in the table we reproduce again in this graph. We can see it graphically. We can see the green bars in the graph. That is household that contribute the largest energy demand in the East Kalimantan. It's about 2,700 gigawatt hour per year. And it is followed by business sector that demand is 1,600 gigawatt hour, and followed by industry and government sector. And the growth of the demand per year is about 2.85% per year. Okay, this is the scenario contributing in this presentation. Okay. On the left side is RUPTL. You can see RUPTL directly and implement in this topic. Then the right section is optimizing renewable energy utilization. In the renewable energy utilization scenario, the projected generation capacity shows a significant increase in use of renewable energy to replace resilience in fossil energy. The main objective of this scenario is to reduce dependence of fossil energy and reduce pollution generated by fossil fuel plant during the process of producing electrical energies. Thus, fossil power generation capacity will decrease, while renewable energy-based power generation will increase. Okay, next is the first scenario, the electricity production from RUPTL. From this graph, we can see the largest contributor is from coal and gas, which is non-renewable energy source that account for 90.2% of energy. And the tiny side is water. Water power plant is only contribute 9.8% of renewable energy in East Kalimantan in the 2030. It is a small amount. From the total energy in 2030 is 6.7 terawatt hour. The scenario covered in RUPTL only give the little amount of renewable energy. It's less than 10%. Let's move on into the renewable energy scenario. This is it, the graph. We can see the largest contributor is by renewable energy power plant, which is 76%, consists of water and another water, which is micro hydro power plant and wind power plant. And the non-renewable energy is only left 24% remaining, with the total electricity energy 2030 is same like in the RUPTL, that is 6.7 terawatt hour. Okay, Mbak Andi.
Thank you. The following figures show the projection result of generating capacity based on the scenario of optimizing EBT utilization. This scenario is made with the aim of optimizing the utilization of renewable energy plants to replace dependence on fossil energy plants to generate or produce electrical energy. This scenario also aims to minimize the pollution produced by fossil energy plants during the process of producing electrical energy by reducing the capacity of fossil energy plants and adding the capacity of EBT plants. The capacity reduction of fossil energy plants carried out during 2021 to 2030. Meanwhile, the addition capacity of renewable energy plants carried out is as follows. For more detail can be seen in these figures. In this figure on the right, which is the annual capacity addition, ABT, it can be seen that at the end of the projection, EBT plants dominates by 82.85% of the total capacity in that years, while in the same years, fossil energy plants only contribute 17.17% on the total capacity. Next. Okay. We saw a graph of investment costs in the context of power plant development in the PLN 2021 to 2030 RUPTL scenario. In this scenario, several new power plant development are carried out as in the graph, namely PLTU and PLTG in 2030, PLTGU in 2026, PLTS in 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, PLTA in 2025 and 2028. The costs required per plane are as shown. PLTU of 19.8 million US dollar, PLTG of 16.5 million US dollar. In this scenario, the total cost required for investment is 1.425 billion US dollar. The cost of production in the scanner reaches 1920.30 million US dollar. Okay. Okay. This is PLN 2021 to 2030 RUPTL scenario. We saw a graph of investment costs in the context of power plant development in the PLN 2021 to 2030 RUPTL scenario. In this scenario, several new power plant development are carried off in the graph, namely PLTU. In this scenario, total requires to investment cost. Next.
Ms. Amel, it's fun. Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your opportunity. I give the floor to the moderator for the next session.
Okay. Thank you very much for Ms. Margareta and Ms. Anggi for giving us such informative and interesting presentation. Now we will move to Q&A session. We will have 10 minutes left for the question and answer session. I will limit the question, maybe just 2 questions from the participant, and the question will be answered one by one by presenter. So guys, if you have a question, please raise your hand and you can ask the question. Any question? Yes.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thanks for opportunity. I will to ask for your team. Why is the prediction only up to 2013? Thank you.
For the presenting, the question is that clear?
Sure.
Okay. Thank you, Mas Krishna. The question will be answered by the presenter. So the presenter who's wanna be the answer that question?
Oh, I will answer.
Miss Margareta. Okay, Miss Margareta.
Okay, thank you, Mas Krishna, for the question. I will answer it. Why the prediction is only to 2030? There is a reason. Because we know that recently the capital of Indonesia is recently moved into the East Kalimantan, IKN, Nusantara City. A shift of National Administrative Center to new location is likely to exert significant influence of the energy consumption rate. This is anticipated due to the probability of urbanization. Many people came to the East Kalimantan for do the job, and then and the development of the East Kalimantan will attract many people to come. This is potentially increasing the demand of electricity, right? However, there is no historical data on this matter. The uncertainty associated with the projection is become excessively large. So we only limit the prediction into 2030.
Okay,
This
thanks
is answer the question.
your answer. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mas Krishna, for the question. And next, Mas Evan.
Okay, my name is Evan. I will thank you for the chance. I will ask about the cost of RUPTL cost projection. In the presentation, that RUPTL cost is so high that about over 1 billion US dollar, and why is that happen? What the cost of the RUPTL cost is too high?
Okay, thank you, Mas Esvan, for the question. Maybe direct to answer from Miss Anggi.
Yes.
Okay, Miss Anggi, you can answer the question of Mas Esvan.
Well, thank you for the question, Mas Evan. Let me answer. In this scenario, is that investment required is over 100 billion US dollar. This value is quite large because many solar and hydropower plants are built between 2021 to 2025, where solar power is quite expensive and long-term operation of hydropower plants.
I think the bump on the cost is about increasing of the power plant, right?
Yes,
Oh,
all right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mas Evan, for the question. And the participant, please give applause for the participant who if the time is have been a limit, and I will closing this presentation. Thank you very much for Miss Anggi and Miss Margareta and all of the participants for active the participant and give the question from Mas Evan and Mas Krisna. Thank you very much. And hopefully the presentation will give the benefit for us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.